welcome back to the Life and Listings podcast. Today I have Andrew joining us. Hey, Andrew.
Hey, how you doing?
Pretty good. Thanks for joining us today. There's going to be a lot of people on this call that already know who you are, but for those that don't, tell us a little bit about yourself, what you're doing, where you're at.
Sure. Yeah, my name's Andrew Flachner. I'm the co-founder and president of RealScout. Founded this company about 12 years ago, and today we help over 100,000 real estate practitioners across the U.S. nurture their database, generate more transactions.
Amazing. And tell us a little bit about RealScout. If people haven't seen it yet, which I would say about 90% of everyone has, tell us a little bit about RealScout and what it does.
Yeah, happy to, especially because the company and the product have evolved so much in the past 6 months, 12 months that some people have seen Real Scout years ago and they don't know everything we have to offer. So, the idea behind Real Scout is that your clients are probably on other websites when they want to answer questions about real estate. For instance, they want to know what their home is worth and they're going to a national portal for that, or they want to see what their neighbor's house just sold for and they have their favorite website in mind. And years ago, we decided that we actually want to keep the agent at the center of the digital experience. So if we're able to surface the right information at the right time, we would be able to nurture someone's database and help them stay top of mind with their clients more effectively.
Yeah, which is what everyone wants, right?
That's right. And I think a lot of people have just waved the white flag. I mean, they have an IDX website that kind of just sits there and collects dust. It's a good digital brochure, but it's not something that
Mhm.
really attracts and retains a lot of attention. So a lot of agents have just given up. In fact, I've met a lot of agents that just say, hey, use whatever app you want to use for the home search. And, if that's the best we can do, then sure. But it turns out that, there are tools out there that can garner more excitement from consumers. And if you're able to stay top of mind with your consumers, then you're going to generate more transactions.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things that you released recently was the Teams report. And I thought you could share a little bit today some of the insights that you've kind of taken away from that.
Yeah, absolutely. So let me just share my screen. All right. So recently we launched the Teams report. And the Teams report is this lengthy, comprehensive survey that team leaders would fill out. And in exchange for their time, we would share the anonymized, aggregated results of the survey. So the Teams report has been completed now by over 1,000 team leaders in North America. And they answer questions about what their home they answered questions about how their business operates, where they get their leads from, et cetera. And the insights were really exciting. So, for those of you watching on YouTube right now, you could probably see the little GIF of The Rock and peeking over the hedges with some binoculars. But the idea here is that there is no better time, no more important time to look over the hedges, bust your binoculars out, see what your peers are doing, see what your competitors are doing, because there's a lot shifting in the industry and a lot of you are probably thinking about 2025 planning. What better way to plan than with actual data? So this is a report that went out to the masses, everyone from Follow Up Boss to Realtor.com to LPT, EXP. I mean, the major brokerages and tech companies of our industry distributed this report, and it's a pretty comprehensive survey. So the results that we're going to look at today are based off of a sample size of about 350, just because after we crunched the numbers, the report soared in popularity. But we'll probably rerun the numbers and see if there were any material shifts. So I think I want to start with kind of a funky analogy. And I was recently giving a talk at the Tom Ferry event in Dallas. And while I was backstage, I heard Tom on stage talking about the idea of sugar cookies and how, as an industry, we need to sell more sugar cookies. So let me explain what I mean by that. It turns out that if you are a bakery owner or you run a store that sells cookies, of course you need to have a variety of cookies on the menu. You want to have chocolate chip, you want to have white chocolate macadamia, but you also want to have sugar cookies. And the reason why is that sugar cookies are all margin, right? They have barely any ingredients and they sort of taste like they have no ingredients, but they're all margin. So if you can sell those cookies, you're going to be in better shape. So what's the analogy here? As a real estate practitioner, you probably get business from all types of sources. Some of it comes from SEO, some of it comes from PPC, maybe a lot of it comes from sphere of influence and referrals. Now, one of those sources that I just named above the others have higher margin, and you could probably guess what that would be. It would be repeat business, referrals, and sphere of influence. And so one of the findings from this report is that when we ask respondents, where does most or many of your transactions come from? The result, of course, was sphere of influence. But it was so staggering how many teams said that most of their business comes from sphere of influence and referrals. And one of the things that I thought was interesting is that it doesn't matter if you're a small team with 2 to 5 agents, or if you're a team of 6 or more agents, or hundreds of agents. All of these teams are generating the lion's share of their GCI from sphere of influence. And so what this told us is, you know, how can you as an agent or a team lead generate more transactions from your sphere of influence? And when we asked people how they felt about their lead nurture systems, maybe this is surprising, maybe it's not surprising, but most of the people who responded to the survey either have no lead nurture system in place, or they have a basic lead nurture system. So
Mhm.
60% of people who filled out the survey said they either have a basic or non-existent lead nurture system. And when you peel back the layers of the onion and you ask, where are you nurturing your leads? It turns out that the MLS is still the winner of that question. In other words, people are sending listing alerts from the MLS as opposed to another tool that might be more captivating and more intuitive.
Really? That that's surprising, but okay.
Yeah, I mean, here's the nuance, right? I mean, most agents have some semblance of home search on their website. But when an agent and a client connect and they sit down for a buyer consultation, they are still reverting back to what they're used to, which is the MLS. And there's a few reasons for that. One of the reasons is that most IDX vendors out there don't have a true data feed, like a full, what we call a virtual office website or VOW feed from their MLS. And what that means is when an agent logs into, I'm not going to name names, but when an agent logs into an IDX website and tries to create a listing alert, they're not seeing all the search criteria that they are used to seeing in the MLS. Furthermore, a lot of these IDX websites just take their time in getting listings out to clients, and especially in a low inventory market, that just doesn't cut it, right? You want your listings to hit client inboxes within minutes from when they're receiving the same listings from national search portals or the MLS or other sources. So it's not surprising then that when you ask, how happy are you with with the systems that you use to send listing alerts and market activity, a third of the respondents said that they are 5 out of 10 on happiness. So very unhappy. In fact, only a quarter of the respondents said that they're a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10 on how happy they are.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So again, when I look at this data, when I see how many, just the sheer magnitude of deals that are coming from SOI and referrals, it starts to lead me down a path of thinking that you don't actually have a lead gen problem. You probably have a lead nurture problem. And that is something that, was validating from the survey, because it's all we think about at RealScout is how do we help our customers generate more transactions from the contacts they already have.
Yeah. That's powerful right there. Cuz lead generation is probably the number one expense for any of these teams.
It's huge. And one of the other realizations we had, and just kind of moving on to the next topic here, is when it comes to customer acquisition, not only are the larger teams spending more on lead gen, but they're actually spending more on a per transaction basis, meaning they're spending more to acquire leads. So if you look at where leads are coming from, like cost per lead basis, it's the small teams that are spending $20 or less on a cost per lead basis. And it's the large teams that are spending $500 or more. And even when it comes to referral fees, small teams said they spend less than 25% on a referral fee twice as often as the larger teams. And the larger teams, they're paying about 35% or more, 3 times as often as the smaller teams. So the reason I bring this up is because bigger teams are spending more to make more, but they're actually spending more on a per transaction basis, and their margins may be worse. So it kind of brings me back to the sugar cookie analogy, which is
Yeah.
to say, hey, if you want to play in the game where you're buying a lot of leads at scale and you have the operational expertise to handle those leads, to process them, that's okay. But if you're a smaller team and you haven't doubled down on paid acquisition like this, you might want to reconsider it. You might want to shift those dollars. Instead of spending, $100,000 a month or $10,000 a month referral fees and lead gen, you may actually want to allocate some of that budget for doing more with your CRM, right? So
Mhm.
you can take your CRM, or what we call a database, and you can plug that into a nurture tool that you really love. Maybe it's RealScout, maybe it's Fellow, maybe it's both. How do you get more traffic to engage with you, more of your contacts to transact with you? And that's really the name of the game, because it's way
Mhm.
cheaper to retain a customer than to acquire a new one.
Absolutely. Yeah. So making sure you have these systems in place first before you do any other lead gen for sure.
That's right.
Awesome. So these were the big takeaways then from this is that we're just paying a ton for leads and probably not maybe closing those deals, but overall just paying a ton for leads.
That's right. And there's nothing wrong with that. I want to make that clear, right? If you are a team and you have a system in place and you are
Mhm.
spending a lot of money on leads, but you have margin and you're able to do that at scale, that's a viable path for growth. There's no question about that.
Yeah.
It's really more of a cautionary tale for any individual agent out there or a smaller team that doesn't have the systems or the sophistication when it comes to paid customer acquisition. I don't want those folks to feel pressured when they look over the fence and see, their competitors buying up all the zip codes in their area. I think that you probably heard of a book called Strengths Finder, and it was ended up being acquired by Gallup. But it's basically a framework where you can take an assessment and figure out where your strengths are. And the whole advice, the whole strategy of this book is to double down on your strengths because you can have more growth than if you
Mhm.
focus on your weaknesses. And it's human nature to focus on what's broken. So a lot of agents or teams that I meet, they say, you know what, 2025 is going to be the year that I really get, my SEO cranking. And I say, "Well, why is that?" And they say, "Well, because last year I did 0 deals from SEO, and my friend in Nashville, is really great with SEO, and he's generating a ton of transactions." And my advice to them is, well, if that's not your strength and it's something you know very little about, why allocate so much mind share and budget to solving that problem? Wouldn't it make more sense to double down on your strengths? Because your Nashville friend is probably an expert in SEO, and that's his strength.
Mhm.
So let him double down on that, and you focus on, what you're already doing to drive transactions.
I mean, I think that's actually a really great point because how many times, I mean, you go to as many conferences, you go to more conferences than I do, but you see all these tips and stuff that are shared, and you see people leaving with like notebooks and notebooks and notebooks worth of like things they need to sign up for and things they need to implement when there probably is a couple things they're already really good at that they can really, like you said, double down and then focus on some of the stuff that they've never done before.
Yeah, and the pages in that notebook may complement or augment your existing strategies and what's working. So try to find things that fit your model and give it a boost as opposed to, throwing out the baby with the bathwater and, looking for a new shiny red object.
Yeah. And if anyone is listening wants to get information on the team's report and get like a full copy, because obviously you're sharing just a little bit of pieces of it. Where should we send them?
Yeah, so we're just scratching the surface here, and if you want the full 50-page report, you just go to theteamsreport.com. That's theteamsreport.com, and you would have to fill out the survey if you're a team leader to get access to all this data. So it's almost like a pay to play, although it doesn't cost any money, but it does cost you some time to contribute to the research in order to get access to the report. Now, if you're thinking about joining a team and you're not currently a team leader, or you don't have 20 minutes to fill out the survey, not a problem. When you go to that website, theteamsreport.com, there's a smaller call to action to get the 14-page preview document, and that's still chock full of great insights.
Yeah, lots of information. I think you should put this together again, Andrew. Once now that you've got like thousands of data points, comparison to the 300. So
That's right.
sh-
Yes.
shifting over to Real Scout a little bit, is there anything on the Real Scout horizon that you're announcing or excited about?
Yeah. So there is something really exciting that's coming to surface now, and it's something called search links. Now, everyone who uses RealScout out there knows that we are really great at the middle of the funnel, meaning once an agent and a client are already working together, RealScout is the category leader when it comes to collaborating with your clients and converting those leads at a higher rate. However, a lot of our customers have been asking for ways to bridge the middle of the funnel with the top of the funnel, which is just a way of saying, help me with lead gen. And we are not a lead gen company. You don't just pay us a lot of money and we send you leads. But RealScout is a powerful tool to use alongside your existing lead gen efforts. So let me give you an example of that. A lot of our customers, they get their leads from Zillow or Facebook or PPC, or as we pointed out earlier, sphere of influence, maybe social media. And so what we can do now with search links is you can create a search link, and this will create a permanent link that you can use to open up the door for someone's home search. So I'm just going to give you a few examples here. Maybe you are a real estate agent in the San Francisco market, and you want to broadcast a search link for homes in the Bay Area between 2 million and 4 million. Or maybe maybe you're a Southern California agent and you want to share a link to a home search for condos in downtown LA. What you can do then is you can create a public display name for that search. So let's just say, I don't know, lakefront cabins in Maine. And then you can choose from professionally designed artwork that says, kick off your home search, view listings, start your home search, etc. And then you can copy that link and you can use that link on social media. So this is an example of somebody who's sharing this on Facebook saying, hey, check out all the lakefront cabins in Maine. And there's a beautiful meta image that populates. But there's a lot of different ways to use this for lead gen. So for instance, some of the people listening are probably well versed in PPC or SEM. And so the idea here is that you can create a search link for, I don't know, Pacific Heights homes in San Francisco, and you can run some ads. We talked to the folks over at Street Text. They have some customers that are going to be using these search links for that purpose as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, a couple other examples I really love is, everyone out there has some kind of website, but not everyone loves the home search functionality on their website because oftentimes it's a little outdated. So with RealScout, you can create search links for different neighborhoods and say, hey, check out the homes in Berkeley or in Oakland, and you can, create these on ramps into your RealScout account from your website. You can even text them to clients, but to close the loop here, the reason why you'd want to float these search links out there is because as people click on them, it's going to generate leads for you,
Yeah.
right? So when you post this on Facebook and you say, hey, check out all the lakefront cabins in Maine, there's going to be people out there who want to see those, who want to request showings, who want to engage with you. And then you can keep track of how many leads you are generating from your search links.
Ooh, I like that. I love the trackability on that because you could really put that in different places or do different things with it and
Right.
utilize that data.
And you can make it as advanced as you want. So like if you use a CRM like Follow Up Boss, this can automatically add tags to your contacts so you can put them on smart lists or create other automations. You can there's UTMs, of course, so you can track that as well. So we're just getting started, but I have to say the most exciting thing to me about search links is not how we are using them, not how our customers are using them, but actually how our customers are using them with third-party vendors. So whether it's call action, whether it's agent image on the website side of the equation, whether it's agent fire or street. I think I mentioned Street Text already. Call action. I mean, these are companies that are taking these search links, and I mean, Jesse at Call Action, for instance, is figuring out ways to use search links in text message campaigns. And Agent Image is creating beautiful websites that are baking these search links directly into their website. So we're just scratching the surface in terms of what these search links are going to unlock for our customers, but this is included in any of our RealScout Pro Plus subscriptions. There's no add-on to use it, and we're excited to see the creative ways that people generate results with this feature.
Yeah, this is gonna be a good one that people are gonna utilize all over the place. I'm excited to see in like the FUB community what people are gonna do with that. So if anyone wants to get information on Real Scout, where do we send that, Andrew?
Sure. So if you are a Follow Up Boss user, then you probably want to go to fubscout.com, FUB scout.com. So that's a combination of Follow Up Boss and RealScout. We have thousands and thousands of mutual customers who call themselves Fub Scout. So that's where you can see success stories, tips and tricks, different webinars to support that community. And if you're using a different CRM, not a problem at all. We work with tens of thousands of customers who use other CRMs as well. But then you just go to realscout.com and you can request more information there. And anyone who wants to connect with me personally and professionally and keep the conversation going, you're welcome to find me on Instagram or LinkedIn. We're going to be pushing out a lot more content in the coming months.
Amazing. Well, thanks for sharing with us today, Andrew. It was awesome having you on today.
Yeah, likewise. Thanks for the opportunity.
All right. Talk to you again soon. Have a great day.
All right, bye.
Bye.